1 or age 23 if certain criteria are met. Anybody got questions on that? So obviously helps, it minimizes your out-of-pocket costs for dental care. Easily accessible, you can choose any licensed and authorized dentist. For this one, it's just like really kind of like a thickness of just fluff. One thing I would say is that the TDP coverage for family members stays in place as National Guard and Reserve sponsors move in and out of active duty. So remember that if you come off of active duty to go into the reservists and then come back into active duty, the TDP coverage for your family members will always stay the same. Obviously, it would change for the the member once they come off of active duty to back to reservists and so forth. All right. Obviously, we know they use DEERS to make sure you're eligible. Obviously, you have to update once someone turns 18, right? You got to update their information in DEERS, their contact information, because obviously once it gets to a certain point, they got to send out those letters because of the ages that we talked about, the 21 and 23. You will get letters prior to being kicked off stating that, hey, it's about that time, and if you do fit in that criteria, you need to resubmit your paperwork to make sure that you stay on there until that certain age. Obviously, you need a birth certificate or a marriage certificate to add someone. That's easy. Just had a quick question. Anybody know if you have a baby, how long what you have to do in order to get them added on the TRICARE? 60.
60.
Bring the birth certificate within 90 days.
But it's 60 days, because after that 61st day, they go to regular TRICARE. What is it? Standard. So you got 60 days. That 61st day, the baby will technically get kicked off. Yeah.
60 or 90?
It's 60.
It's 60.
Thank you.
It's 60. The 61st day is the day that they will get kicked off if you don't take the birth certificate into and get it uploaded in DEERS.
60 is the number.
They're born in a military hospital, guys.
Yes.
Sorry, heads up.
Huge. Remember, just because they're born in a military hospital does not mean that they automatically are going to stay on there after their 60th day.
And you can use your certificate of live birth to actually get them enrolled. You don't actually need to wait for the birth certificate to come in. They accept that document when you're trying to get there, and you get that within days of leaving, or like once you without the baby, you probably get within that week to go take to DEERS.
Big thing about this goes back to what I said earlier. For family members of National Guard and Reserve, even when the sponsor status changes, it does not change the TDP for your members, the family members. So that's a big thing. Just remember that the family member's status will always stay the same no matter what the sponsor status goes to. Obviously, big thing here is if I'm in the reserves, once I hit that 30 days, my TRICARE status changes, right? So 30 days or more, you automatically get switched over to TRICARE Prime for the active duty member, right? But also remember, just because my status changed, doesn't mean my family member's status changed.
Remember, for reserves, and this is for not just TRICARE, but mostly everything in the military, anything is with that 30-day mark because they're considered active once they go past that 30 days or more for a TAD or whatever else, and then they don't get those eligibilities that they have when they're sitting at home, if that makes sense.
This is a big thing. I learned this from Master Chief Carr. When looking at the civilian benefits, right? So like if some of y'all go into the reserves or anything like that, if you are a spouse, and this is just kind of a tidbit, if you are a spouse, let's say I'm dual military and I retire, look at the civilian benefits versus the military benefits. 9 times out of 10, it's better to go with the military benefits versus the civilian benefits, no matter how much they say it is. That's pretty much what this is saying. So just look over the benefits of the civilian versus the benefits of the military. That's just a tidbit for anyone who plans on getting out anytime soon or who plans on retiring and is dual mil to mil.
That goes the same comparing TRICARE to VA benefits, because you'll have an option to get seen for under a VA insurance or a TRICARE insurance. Usually TRICARE insurance is better. You have more out-of-pocket costs getting the VA care.
Now, I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. I ain't never learned this part. Like I learned it, but to like memorize it, I don't have no way to help you memorize that. There he is. Come on now. Come on up here. This is who's supposed to teach you. He's a little late, so I just thought I'd help him. Yeah, he got the tricks and the trades to the.
HM1 was babysitting his kids.
Yeah.
That's why he was late.
He was sitting on his kids this morning.
Alright, so just real quick, easy way to remember this is just treat it as if it's a car. Good morning, everybody. I know you want to read. I had an emergency, so just treat it as if it's a car. So for diagnostic and preventative care, the military cares nothing about that, right? So they're not going to pay anything for it if you're E1 to E4 or you're E5 or you're outside of CONUS. When it comes to basic restorative care, they're like, all right, cool, we kind of want to keep the car running a little bit longer, so they'll give you at least 20% for that from E1 to E4 and E5 and above. Endodontics, periodontics, and oral surgery, a little bit more serious, right? The lower rank you are, they'll say, all right, 30% would be fine, but if you're E5 and above, they want to keep you going a little bit longer, so they'll offer a little bit more. That makes sense, yes, so. And then for the more serious stuff, if you guys have ever been on the dental side, you know that a lot of this procedure costs a lot more, so they'll put up a lot more for that. Any questions?
So for dental wise too, if you don't know what these terms mean, so I'm gonna break it down a little bit more Barney style for you, right? So dental is one of those expensive things in the military to where that's why you don't get fully covered for everything. If you're gonna get certain services, you have to pay more out of pocket because it's just expensive. If anybody's ever gotten in town and you get a root canal done, that alone is like $1,200, right? So what it means by diagnostic and preventive, that means an exam and a cleaning. Exams and cleanings are covered for free. Right? Basic restorative just means you have a couple fillings to get done, right? So you have some cavities, your family members have to go in to get some cavities filled, you're going to pay 20% of that pay, right? He's talking about the specialties with endodontics and periodontics, right? Those are usually going to be your mid-range things. Now, pros and ortho usually deals with some sort of appliance that's expensive to make. Ortho dealing with braces, pros is dealing with your retainers that you would be putting in your mouth, like the fake teeth and all that, right? It costs more money to make those kind of items, so that's why it's more on the 50% range. Does that make sense to y'all? So it's exactly what he says, but just to give you an understanding of what those terms mean dental-wise can help you figure out how that falls into place.
All right, so does anybody know how cost share is determined? I'm not sure if you're all right, so does anybody know how cost share is determined? So just as how you see it at the top, so CONUS for sponsor, so it's determined by the dental service that you're getting. Did you see the slide? It's determined by the dental service that you're getting plus your sponsor's pay. That's what determines the cost share. So the service that you're getting and your sponsor's pay. All right, so CONUS dentists are, so for CONUS, you're covered in the 50s. Yes, that's perfect. So, and CONUS dentists. So for CONUS dentists, you're covered in all 50 states plus Colombia, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. They strongly imply here, well, the brochure says, oh yeah, you're okay to go and get care from any authorized dentist, but if you read through the brochure, they strongly imply that you get it from someone who's covered under the network. And a lot of times you hear, what's our service now? You hear our services say, oh yeah, it's nice to go with a dental provider or a network provider. That's because they offer essential benefits such as, so dentists who are under the network follow the rules. You won't have to pay more out of cost because they know exactly what's covered, and they'll even file your claims for you. So after you're done getting your care, all you have to do is just worry about getting your meds and going home. If you choose someone outside the network, that's when the non-network providers can add on additional fees, and after you're done, they're like, well, we don't really know anything about TRICARE, we don't really know anything about DHA, so you need to do your own claim. And that's the reason why they push for providers who are covered under the network.
You know where to search for your providers that are covered under the network? So United Concordia right? So it used to be MetLife, now it's United Concordia. You go on there and it searches within a 50-mile radius of your location and pulls up all the providers under that TRICARE, right? That way you go ahead and do that first before making an appointment for your spouse or your kids, to where you automatically know that person's covered. The worst thing you want to do is not ask that question, get services, and then now have to pay a crap ton of money because they weren't a non-network provider. You want to pull this PowerPoint up?
Yeah.
Sure. Do you have your email open?
I don't. Oh, it's okay then.
I could forward it to you real quick.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. So, how do we verify eligibility? So, DEERS is the central system, or the main system that they use in order to verify your eligibility. But only sponsors can actually sign family members up. So, if the question is, oh, can my spouse go and sign us up? No, it's only the sponsor that can sign family members up. And you can't just go and be like, oh, I have my wife or I have my adopted child or kid. You have to bring actual supporting documents. So one, only sponsors can sign a person up, and you actually need the supporting documents to present to the DEERS office before you can actually sign these members up. For enrollment, you'll actually be rejected if the DEERS office determines that you don't have the appropriate document. You can always fix the error and reapply. However, the date of your coverage depends on when you actually start these documents, because you know a lot of times in the military we have cutoff dates. If your coverage date, and I have it here, so the date of your coverage depends on the date United Concordia, as you said earlier, receives your actual documentation, not when you submit it to the DEERS office. And if you guys have ever dealt with a DEERS office, you know how that goes. All right, so if United Concordia, and these were dates that I thought were important. So if United Concordia receives your documents by the 20th of each month, your coverage actually starts that following month. So if we're in today's actually the 20th of February. So if the United Concordia receives your documentation today, then your coverage starts next month. However, if they received it tomorrow, your coverage would not start until April, because I guess that's their cutoff date. Hey, shaking your head, you verify it. You've had to deal with that before? Perfect.
It's like a line of accounting. Same thing with like anybody ever worry about advancement and like when you're going to get paid? Based off when that's submitted and when that day takes place. If it's earlier in the month, then you're going to get paid by that 15th. If that effective date is later on in the month, then you're going to get paid that next paycheck after the 15th, right? So that's kind of how it goes in that same way. And that's a test question too, so I'm going to hit on points that I've seen on the test. So the 20th of each month has been on the test for when that TRICARE coverage starts.
Did you say by the 20th or on the 20th?
So, all right, I'll re-explain that part. So the 20th, so today is the 20th, United Concordia needs to receive your documentation, and I'm looking all around. Oh, there you are. So United Concordia needs to receive your documents by the 20th. So the 20th is the cutoff date for it to start the following month. However, if they receive it after the 20th, then it won't start until, just count it as 2 months later. So the three ways we enroll is basically the three type of services we have right now. So online, by phone, or by mail. You don't want to do snail mail because things get lost. It's easy to call them, or you can just go online and enroll that way. All right, so plans and options. So the TDP offers plans for both single, because you know it's if you're reserved or where am I? Sorry. So if you're reserved or you have family members, you have both of those plans. You can either do the single or the family plan. So to enroll, your sponsor needs to have at least 12 months of service left. And that was one of the key points they kept highlighting. You need to have 12 months of service left. And once you enroll, you need to be with the service for at least another 12 months. So they mentioned that twice within the brochure. And after the initial 12 months of your enrollment, your enrollment continues on a month-to-month basis. Just like with a lease, right? You have your lease for at least a year. And afterwards, if you choose not to re-up your lease, then you can do a month-to-month basis until you find something better or in a safer community. All right. So when it comes to premium, the amounts may change. The amounts change, but the each premium amount changed on the 1st of May. So this year, if you already have that service, your amount is going to change on the 1st of May. And premiums are based again on the sponsor and their status. So, active duty to reserve, reserve to active duty. That's how your premium are determined.
And the number of people in your family that are enrolled, right? So if you say you have 3 people and you add another kid, then your premium is going to be a little higher that you're going to pay because now you have an additional individual on that plan.
And they do accept credit cards and checks, so you don't have to worry about mailing in money orders if you choose not to do so. The maximums, and this is something I've seen on my test too. So the annual benefit maximum is $1,500 per enrollee. So as long as you don't go over that within that year, you should be good. For our orthodontics lifetime maximum is $1,750 per enrollee, and then for accidental treatments, because kids fall all the time, it is $1,200 per year. So for annual benefits maximum, it's $1,500. For orthodontics, it's $1,750, and then for accidental coverage, it's $1,200. And go ahead.
Was that ortho a lifetime or a
That's
per year?
That's lifetime.
Lifetime.
There's a reason why it says on the other two, non-orthodontic too. Orthodontic, as you saw on the previous slide, only pays for 50% of it because it's the more expensive care. So it's only going to give you a limited amount as long as it's not dealing with more extensive care as ortho.
And there should. I'm sorry. Oh, the 1,500. That was the annual benefit maximum.
Okay.
And if there, go ahead.
I'm sorry, were those amounts for the premium or for the single?
For the
Maximums.
Yeah.
Maximum benefit.
Yeah.
Maximum benefits. And there's some handouts with all of this highlighted in it.
No, premiums and maximums are different. Premium is the amount you're going to pay for the year. So the premium, I think I have a family of 6 and I pay like $36 a month. That's the premium, right? The maximum is just saying, hey, how much dollar amount can you be covered up to for certain services that you're getting throughout the year, right? So you're still going to pay some sort of premium based off of that cost share on the chart for those services, but you only get up to that amount each year. So you only get up to $1,500 worth of dental care each year, on top of the accidental coverage of like not the regular shit happening, like not exams or cleanings, but your kid fell, like you said. Then they have up to $1,200 more that they can grant you for those services.
All right. Go ahead.
So if your kids need braces and it's like $3,000 for their lifetime, they're only going to get the $1,500, and you're going to have to pay the other $1,500 out of pocket.
From what I understand, that's correct. Yes.
It's another reason why you don't see a lot of people have braces in the military too, because it's expensive. The only people they grant braces to in the military are those that actually, like, I guess you could say, medically need it. Like, they have to have it deemed appropriate that it has to be there by the dentist to actually get braces.
And as somebody who did this for a few years in Okinawa, you actually have, and that's why they do a whole 50%, you actually have a wait list that they put you on. And then they'll bring your kid's case or even your case before a board and determine what is more eligible for care and which one the military will be willing to cover at 50%. When it comes to family members, I'm not sure if this was already touched on, but it's your spouse, your unmarried child, your stepchild, adoptive child. And one of the questions I've seen personally is at what age are they covered up to? Go ahead. Yes? Okay, cool. So they're covered up to the age of 21, and which is, drinking age. So think about it that way. They're covered all the way up until drinking age until special circumstances, or if special circumstances present itself, they'll be covered up until 23 as long as they're unmarried. And yeah, that's pretty much all of the highlights. Like I said, there should be some handouts going around with all the highlights. insights on it. If you guys have further questions.
One last thing to keep y'all in mind too, because I like to hit on things that can confuse you later on in other TRICARE chapters, especially on the test. Pay attention to that 21 to 23, right? I don't remember which one it is, but there's another TRICARE one that's age of 21 before you're married for the age of 26, right? So make sure you know your date ranges for what it's talking about with TRICARE, so you're not getting mixed up on the test. I'm pretty sure we covered